Hello and welcome to the Pew Pew Show. Tonight's show is brought to you by Scott and myself, Dean.
And our brand new sponsor, Glock.
What?
Yeah.
Glock?
It's happening.
You're kidding me, right?
Yeah, I am.
Because our guests haven't exactly been in love with Glocks.
They haven't been favourable to Glock, but yo, Glock out there, if you want to sponsor the Pew Pew Show and raise your reputation a little bit, give us a yell.
Hey, but I'll tell you what our Aussie shooters are in love with, and that was the South Australian National Handgun Championship.
And it was awesome.
It was. Let's check it out.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Match director, Mr. Brown, how's it going? We're a couple of stages into the competition already.
Yeah, it seems to be going pretty smooth at the moment.
Your day's not too busy at the moment?
Not at the moment, and it's all the equipment's working and people seem to be enjoying themselves.
Mate, it's a great Nationals.
Yep, thank you.
So far it started off well.
Yep.
The RO pre-match was unbelievable. We had a ball.
Excellent.
And the stages are fun. You've done a great job, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cool.
Are there any questions? No questions, 3 minutes. Oh, there is one. Nope.
Guys, we got Steve from Tiger Shark Ballistics up beside us. Say g'day.
G'day.
How's your match going, mate?
It's going.
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going great.
It's going.
That's what you want to say.
Fantastic.
It's going great. It's
Yeah.
got to be those projectiles you're using that's really giving you the advantage.
Maybe it had.
100%. Check out Tiger Shark online. Give us a website.
Thank you. TigerSharkBallistics.com.au.
Awesome. It's quite funny who you run into while you're just walking up and down the range. You know, the old code host just finished shooting. Not a bad run. How'd you go?
Everything was on. Alpha Charlie's could have gone a little bit quicker, but that's the story for everyone, I think.
2 stages. The third stage.
That is our stage, yeah.
So how's the shoot going so far?
Pretty good. We had a couple of stages with the swingers in there. I managed to get everything on and sometimes with them, but that's what you first couple of stages.
Yep, into a warm up and away you go.
For the match, fast, don't stop. Basically, just shoot points. and don't miss.
Two stages in, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going alright. Bit slow, but trying to getting all the points that I need. So yeah, just collecting points and not at the moment. Yeah.
What an absolute blast that match was. I had a ball. How about you?
Yeah, I had a great time. Best nationals I've been to now, and I've been to two.
So this over the last one to this one.
Oh, look, they were completely different. There are a lot of aspects I really actually did like about the Darwin one, although some people didn't. But this was really a step up, I have to say. The format.
I was just going to mention the format. How did that go with you?
Brilliant, because I got to ride in with James in the morning, and then we got to watch some people shoot in the afternoon, and yeah, it's
awesome. Format was a little bit different for me because I was ROing the match as well, so we did the pre-match. So I was there all day, every day, but I still had so much fun. Big shout out to the A team on stage 11. That is Steve, Flory, Bowden, and myself, because we were awesome. I'm just going to give myself a head smile on this one. We had a blast throughout the whole week.
Good.
9 days we were there.
So you shot your match in 2 days, is that right?
You called it a match? I kind of shot something. I wouldn't really call it a match.
Are you referring to your shooting?
No, I was referring to my shooting. Yeah, look, I had from the RO's perspective, we had some dedicated ROs that went out there. There was a last minute hiccup where SA Pole asked us to sandbag every little bit of steel that was showing. Okay. So a few of the dedicated ROs went out there on the Sunday and sandbagged up.
So you're referring to the stands that are
the stands, everything that had metal showing, we had to cover it up. So there were a few dedicated ROs that went out there 9:30 Sunday morning till 7:30 Sunday night, filling up sandbags and putting them out there. So needless to say, when I did the pre-match on Monday morning, I was sore as hell.
Well, now that's kind of unusual actually when you think about it, because the steel has to be a certain distance away, and we usually add a metre for extra safety, or arm's
length. It was the
length.
actual stands for all the targets. They all had metal bases and they had to be covered.
How bizarre, because that's not normally the case in a normal match.
Not normally, but SA are about to get 40 cal. So we had to sort of take it from SA Pole, and that's their stipulation, so that's what we had to do.
Well, a big thanks to all the ROs that dedicated themselves to a fantastic match, a fantastic week of shooting.
100%. They gave 100% on that match, and they're phenomenal. All the ROs. We had a blast.
I think it was fantastic, and the ROs were all upbeat. They were in a great mood. It was lovely to meet them all, and people who knew them a bit better than I did, some of them, because they might have been South Australian ROs, were giving them a hug. So I go, oh, we're hugging?
We're hugging ROs now. We love hugging ROs. ROs are always up for a hug. You and I got nicknames as well.
I don't know. What do you think?
Part of the RO thing, when you get signed off as an RO, you usually get a nickname. And I didn't have one, you didn't have one, you haven't been signed off yet, but you're getting there.
Yep.
We won't hold that against him. But Steve Flory put up my nickname from the show, so I ended up with Hollywood. It lasted, I think it took 15 minutes to get around the whole match. Right. Steve went, that's your nickname. That's how it is. Every squad that came past, Scotty's nickname's now Hollywood. And then on the radio, we can approach Scotty now as Hollywood. 15 minutes it stuck, so that's it now. And then Dean got Vegas, and I was under strict instructions from all the ROs: do not tell Dean his nickname until the presentation dinner. Okay. And that was announced on the live show.
Okay, Hollywood and Vegas.
Hollywood and Vegas. Here we go. This is gonna end real.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Oh God, we're not going there. But thanks, Steve, and thanks for being awesome on the stage.
Actually, he's a pretty cool guy. Actually, I bumped into him a couple of times, and yeah,
Steve was fantastic. In fact, we've got Steve coming up in the next Hold My Beer segment. He makes a bit of an appearance on there, and the Hold My Beer segment is phenomenal on this one.
Yeah, it's very unique.
What do you reckon we check it out?
Let's do it now.
Well, it's unique in such a way that it's a 1916 Luger.
We should tell people, really.
No, let's not tell them. Let's just go to it.
But you just told them.
Yeah, well, sort of. Let's go to it and flick over to it. Have fun.
Stand by.
Here we go. Look at that, a 1916 Luger. The rifling's gone in there. All the rounds tumbled. This was on my stage too.
How long is that barrel?
It's long. It was long enough that Dirtbot wore really short shorts, pink short shorts, and the muzzle kept burning his leg. How's that though? Coming to nationals and just having a blast.
That is a bizarre looking gun.
It is.
I kind of like it though.
I think it's great fun. How's that for a malfunction fix? Here we go.
Wow.
It's clear, have that holster. Rangers clear, 3589. What the fuck is that?
A Luger. Also, it's basically, it doesn't have a lot of rifling left, so you'll find a lot of them are tumbles. Ow! Hot muzzle on my leg.
What year was that fucking made?
This is a 1916.
A 1960.
You can hear me in the background and Bowden in the background as well. He says that they're over there scoring targets and stuff.
Yeah, they're definitely a bit out there. They're a bit rare.
And standard, is it?
No, too big. Open.
Open?
Yeah.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, rifle.
200mm barrel.
Get out of here.
And he shoots doubles everywhere, look.
Yeah. Aaron.
How amazing was that? I mean, seriously, that is taking some fun to nationals and really having fun with it.
It's certainly that. It's bizarre. Every time I look at that gun, I'm just like, what? That's just so bizarre.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
He's shooting an open. He doesn't even have a dot on it.
No, you can't. I don't think there's anywhere for the Luger you can actually put a dot on it. But please follow Range Derp on Instagram. We're going to put the link in the description below, and we'll put it on the screen now for his link for Instagram. He is phenomenal. He's fun to watch, and he brings some excitement to IPSC.
That guy is loose.
Yeah, he's 100%. 100% loose, but you would never meet a nicer guy.
No,
and
lovely.
We're going to get him on the show for an interview. Probably next show. We're going to bring Aaron in to have a bit of an interview with us. That was fantastic. I loved every minute of it. When he said there was no rifling and it tumbled, oh my God, trying to score that was a nightmare because, yes, every round tumbled.
Oh, really?
Yep. Every single one of them.
So that'll get him off maybe if he's got...
Well, if he's lucky. But yes.
He can say, no, it didn't hit the hard cover and bounce into the target.
No, it went through the target because there's no rifling and that's the way
went
it
in sideways, but it's all good.
But yeah, there was a lot of alphas. But what a fantastic run and a fantastic thing to do on nationals for a bit of fun and games.
Yeah, and look, he's actually, if the rounds are going in sideways, he's getting a larger spread over the over the targets.
He did. I noticed the scoring on that, and yes, it sort of went larger spread. And
I think maybe there should be an award for that. Who brings the weirdest gun to shoot at nationals?
Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be cool.
It'd be great fun. All right, we're moving on. Sorry?
Muskets or something.
Muskets? Can we do muskets?
No.
No. Damn. Okay, we're going to move on to our next segment.
As you can see, Targets USA standard and mini poppers can be completely disassembled, making them easy to transport. Both the Rhino and the IPSC plates are fully reversible. This saves time during the match from having to repaint them. Resetting the targets has never been so easy. Just place your hand or your foot at the back of the unit, then interlock the plate with the locking mechanism. Standard poppers come with a reversible activating keyhole for getting all those moving targets activated. The last thing that shooters and ROs want is a range malfunction, and the best way to avoid this is to use these high quality and highly reliable targets made from Targets USA.
Some say he's related to John Wick, and that during a stage he does not blink his eyes. All we know is he's called the Shadow. Some say he keeps kicking our butt, Scott.
Oh, 100%. There's got to be one day where we can beat him.
It would be nice.
I'm going to have to do some more study, man.
Well, we'll keep working on it. But, I mean, speaking of that, what are we going to do to get ourselves into a contending position at the next Nationals.
Oh, my goal is to beat the Shadow for starters, but he's not going to be at Nationals. We don't even know if he's going to be there or not, or if he's Australian or not. We don't know where he is.
Imagine if he turned up at the Nationals.
Oh, good Lord. In the Shadow outfit as well. Yeah. That'd be a talking of the town, that's for sure. I'm switching to classic.
Shooting that 1916 gun.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'm switching to classic this year, so that's going to be a whole new thing for me.
So you've got a whole new challenge. You're going back from shooting a dot to now shooting an iron sight again.
Well, I still have the eyes to actually see the iron sight. I'm going to give it a go. Why not?
Okay, why not? I think that's not a bad idea.
So what are you going to do?
Oh, that's a good question. I think what I'll need to do is I'll need to shoot as many matches as I can. So that means I really want to shoot some of the other state selection matches. I'd love to go to Brisbane and shoot theirs. I like the look of some of the stages they have. Also, I wouldn't even mind shooting New South Wales, even though you can't film there. Reviewing your footage is really important to help critique yourself. Because that's another part of it that I really want to get into this year, is actually understanding my splits between transitions and shots and things like that, and
actually reviewing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's phenomenal.
Well, the other thing I'd like to do is actually shoot some international matches as well. So New Zealand's coming up later in the year.
Yeah, Kane and I have been vited that we have to RO New Zealand. Yep, we've been told we have to go and RO New Zealand.
Right.
So we'll be going over there shooting the pre-match and ROing New Zealand as well.
I wouldn't mind getting to that. I'm a little bit jealous. I think I would like to shoot that. But also Corinth.
Corinth, yes, in September. Dean, myself, Antonio, I think Gareth, and there's one other person, I'm not sure who it is. We're all going to Corinth to the European Handgun Championships. But speaking of Corinth, that's going to be awesome fun. But let's find out what's happening in your neck of the woods.
International section, we have the Viking Extreme Open. The location for this is Copenhagen, Denmark. This is a level 3 IPSC challenge with 24 stages, minimum of 430 rounds, and the dates for this are the 27th to the 29th of July. Registrations are open and the match fee is just €260. We have the Champions of League Kings of Kings, which is taking place at the Eastridge Shooting Club. This is in Rizal, Philippines. It's a level 3 handgun competition, comprising of 12 stages and a minimum of 216 rounds. Registration is open and the dates for this are June the 9th to the 11th. We have the Extreme Euro Open 2023. This is taking place in Hodonice in Czech Republic. It's a level 3 IPSC handgun competition and comprises of a huge 30 stages, minimum of 535 rounds, and the dates for this are June the 22nd to the 24th. Awards ceremony is on the 25th. Registrations are open for this and it's just €300.
All right, we've got a letter from Steve, who is in Sydney, Australia. He says, I listened to Steve Anderson's podcast while driving to work, and the dogs actually scare the hell out of me when they bark suddenly. He says, I've been shooting IPSC for a while now, and I just feel like I've hit a plateau. He says, I basically have been stuck in A grade for 2.5 years, and I don't seem to be able to make the gap to master grade. Have you got any ideas on how I can shake up my training routine, or what techniques might be needed to improve to make it to master grade? Any insights would be awesome. Sincerely, Steve.
Well, let's see what Mr. Anderson has to say for us.
Over to the rock star of dry fire, Steve Anderson.
Hello, Steve from Australia, and because I'm also a Steve, we can do nicknames. You can be Steve-O or Steve-Arino, your choice. Let's go with Steve-O. So you're trying to get to master grade. That's wonderful. Do you know the differences between you and a master grade shooter? What does a master grade shooter do? What are his habits and attitudes that are not the same as yours? If you can spot the difference between you and a master grade shooter, you can make those changes, close that gap, and become a master grade shooter. So the first thing we got to do is make sure you have a rock solid match mode and can go out and have a winning performance on demand. That means you can get up, be Super Steve, Super Steve-Arino, Super Steve-O, go out and shoot your game game with no regrets. Can you do that? Yes or no? I'll listen. Okay, he says maybe sometimes. So we got to learn match mode, and we got to learn to produce a winning performance on demand. That's what we got to do first. And I can help you do that. 3 minutes is not enough time to help you do that. However, the next thing we need to know is, to get to master grade, do you need to be faster or more accurate? Faster will be a function of training. More accurate will most likely be mental. If you're in A grade, you for sure have the skill and ability to shoot accurate shots. Mentally, you may be choosing to do something else. So that's the other thing we need to know. Do you need to get faster, or do you need to get more accurate? If you need to get faster, dry fire is the solution. Dry fire is the easiest, fastest, quickest, cheapest way to get faster in the comfort of your own home. Right? So we can dry fire to get faster. You'll just need to par time whatever it is you're trying to increase the speed on and chisel those par times down. I wrote a book that maybe you've heard of called Refinement and Repetition that is all about putting par time on dry fire drills and dropping them down. Okay, if we're satisfied with sort of our standing, maybe speed shootability, need a little bit more speed in the movement, you want to do those drills while moving. Okay, and we don't have enough time to talk about that right now, but the easiest thing to do is just put while moving, comma, in the front of every drill. And that'll help you start to do those while moving. Maybe we'll do a show on that in the future. Now, so dry fire for speed, live fire for accuracy and shot calling. If we have an accuracy issue, that is 100% mental at your level. You are choosing to do something else besides fire accurate shots. And again, mental management will help you understand that. If you're actively choosing between speed and accuracy, you'll always make the wrong choice, and you'll always leave the other one on the table for your competitors to gleefully steal from you and beat you yet again. So let's use live fire for accuracy and shot calling. Right? Shot up target on the front, clean target on the back, shoot 2 shots at a competition pace, and go try to predict what you will see. And the easiest, best way to learn great match mode shooting is to go out with a shooter of similar skill, set up a stage with shot up targets on the front, clean targets on the back, and you both shoot it. Your score is your raw time, as long as there's nothing worse than a Charlie. So alphas and Charlies on those targets score with raw time. A delta or a mic means you don't even get to know your time, and it won't count for score. And with a shooter of similar skill, that's an excellent way to learn how to shoot accurate shots, leave only accurate shots, including makeups, without consciously slowing down. Against a shooter of similar skill, slowing down will not be an option. But leaving only accurate shots at your current level of skill will be the only thing you can do to be successful, and that's all you can ever do to be successful. So please let us know if we need to get faster or more accurate, and also let us know if you're able to produce a winning performance on demand. Those are the 3 things we need to be able to do. Thank you so much for writing. Have a great day in Australia. Put another shrimp on the barbie.
Scott and Dean here from the Pew Pew Show, asking you if you've got a blazing run
or a complete FUBAR
and you'd like us to feature it on the Pew Pew Show,
send it in to us at
thepewpewshowaustralia@gmail.com. Okay, well done, David. You've just shot the 3 swingers, the 3 steals, with the activators. How'd that go?
Yeah, really well. Just a reload on the last section, but other than
that. From what I heard, you went activator,
plate,
seal,
yeah, activator, plate, swinger, activator, plate, swinger, reload with a fumble, activator, plate, swinger.
Well, mate, it sounded like music to me. Well done, good job, excellent.
Stand by.
Hey, Cookie, so you've just shot that stage. Tell me about it. How'd it go?
Hey, how are you, Dean? Yep, so with this one, I noticed that the big step that you end up taking to the left there, left the gun wobbling like shit, and was slower to start shooting.
Yep.
So what I did was I started shooting on the second target from the right.
Okay.
And then walked into the position smoothly.
Yes.
Coming across and sweeping the rest of the targets, leaving the steel to last, just in case.
Fantastic.
And it seemed to work out for me. I got a 5:09, fastest time for this squad, but I'm tipping Paul Fagan, probably going to smash that.
5:09, that's blazing run. Well done.
Right, 2 Charlies.
Good job. Well done. Awesome.
So, Dean, how did you get your head back in the game?
Oh, that's a good question, Scott. I guess basically the way I got my head back into the game, I was fortunate enough to be staying 2 doors down from Paul Fagan.
Oh, our national champion.
Multiple national champion, family champion along with
Did
James.
you specifically book your accommodation that way?
No,
I know how you work.
Yeah, proximity. Yeah, that's it. Look, it did pay off because I spent a few minutes dry firing with him, and he just gave me a little bit of coaching. Basically had me committing to my sights again and committing to them over and above my trigger. And that was really how it unfolded for me on the last day. And the last day was a great day for me.
Well, look, we've got something fantastic coming up for you guys. We've actually got an interview with Paul Fagan himself. We're going to switch over to that now and give you guys a little bit of insight of the insider tips that Dean got while he was over at Nationals.
Hello, Paul, and welcome to the Pew Pew Show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're good, we're good. Hey, we wanted to catch up with you after the Nationals and hit you up with a few questions and how everything went. So tell us, did you actually like the format that they ran at the South Australian Nationals?
Yeah, it's definitely the best format. That half-day squatting, there's just nothing better for the social aspect.
I totally agree, except for me. Well. I didn't get that social aspect because I was ROing, so we were there all day, but we had a blast. ROs and everything, we had a blast. Social aspect, it gave you a little bit of time to get out and actually socialise with people you don't see for like 12 months.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great because half the reason we go to these matches is to spend time with our friends.
Yeah.
And so if you're working all the time, like just shooting, going home, sleeping, come back, you don't get any of that. I would love it if we had like a unified way of running our national, so it's always the same. That would be amazing.
I think
so we know what we're getting
Australia
into.
is still working on those systems, and I think the IPSC Australia is still in its infancy when it comes to that. They haven't got their systems right in place, but I totally agree with you. I think that should be a system that could be implemented yearly to have a regular thing, so we know what we're expecting.
I'm actually quite surprised that for how long IPSC's been around in Australia and Nationals been going for, that it's taken this long to plug out something that works really, really well like that. So, well done.
I think it's very much an individual effort.
Yeah.
So every time, every state runs its own show, and then the national body just kind of makes sure they're not messing up, as opposed to I think it would be better if it was kind of organised from the national body, but then that brings in all those other issues of like how do you recruit people on the ground?
Yeah.
So it's not a straightforward answer, but maybe some work in that direction would be good.
Yeah.
I think we're moving forward in the right direction.
Yeah.
Which is great. Hey, Paul, you were in a unique position where you've been shooting production all year, and then boom, all of a sudden you've moved to production optics. And competing for the outright win at the Nationals, it must have been a little bit challenging for you?
Yeah, well, for me, the biggest challenge was getting used to the changes that you have to make when using a dot. So it's not that straightforward. It's not just, there's a dot makes things easier. So the dot does make things easier, but there's more to it than that.
There is.
For example, where I got caught out a couple of times. One was shooting prone. When I went to prone, couldn't find my dot. It just wasn't there.
It's not just that when you camp the dot, it's different again.
Exactly. And so it took me a while to find it, and then, hang on, you'll put it in the window. Then another time I shot through a wooden frame and got a miss. Didn't know. Bullets were touching on the other side, so it was amazing shooting because the red dot was right there, and it was awesome shooting.
But actually, Paul, you made actually a fair bit of ground on the last day. So how did that happen? Did you push a bit, or did you just stay the course and it came to you?
I did make the mistake of pushing a little bit, which didn't really pay off. And generally it never pays off.
No.
So I pushed a little bit, got punished for it, backed off a bit, did really well, and so it was a bit of a mixed bag on that last day. I could have. It's one of those things. You get to the end of the match, you look back and you go, I didn't need to push. and I would have been just fine.
Yeah.
But new division. I think barely 3, not even 4 months shooting an optic. So there's still a lot to learn. Like even now, it's been a month since, and I've already seen a huge improvement in that time.
That's awesome.
Cool. Now you've left production for now, or for however long it may be, maybe permanently. But look, you've left James there on his own, and
you just bailed on your son.
Well, look, he's flying solo, right? So how do you think he's going?
He's doing really well. I like his attitude. Is probably a good way to put it. Okay. He's very helpful around the range. Helps other people. Helps the squad. He's taken on the big daddy role, I suppose. And so people come to him, ask him, what do you think of my stage plan?
Yep.
And he's really good. Like he's helpful. He's a good ambassador, maybe is a way to put it.
Yeah. A young big daddy though.
He is, but he's phenomenal. Anytime anyone asks him for advice, James is straight up to help people out.
No, look, I totally agree. I've squatted with him twice, and best thing I can do is not watch him shoot before it's my turn. But as far as advice and being part of the actual squad, he's completely there, which is fantastic. So personally, I still think he's improving year on year, and that's making it a little bit harder for some of us to make ground on him percentage-wise. So that, he's...
Well, it's a good thing. He's raising the bar that you now have to step up to.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
You've just got to keep staying your course and staying with your training and move on with that.
I reckon, speaking of courses, I think Paul's got a course that could actually help do that. I mean, Paul's taught James to be where he is.
Well, that's correct. I mean, it's evident of the training that you've provided James, how well he's doing on his own.
See how I led into that? That was good.
That was fantastic. Awesome plug.
So, Paul, tell us a little bit more about your course, Performance Pistol.
Yeah, so I went out of my way over the last 10 years and actually went around the world getting training by a lot of top trainers. So your JJ Ricazes, Max Michel's, and like a huge laundry list of people I could list. And what I did then is I distilled that down.
Though. I've seen that. Don't do that.
Oh goodness no. Goodness no. He works out way too hard. That makes it totally stinky. But like I've distilled it down, and then with going on the journey myself of becoming national champion, it consolidates what you actually need to do versus like what works, what doesn't work. And there's a lot of wives' tales on the internet and YouTube and IPSC in general. There's a lot of things we talk about that just don't work. Sounds good, doesn't work. And so what I've done now is I've put together my training course, and I've trained multiple people now. I've got something, I think it's about 5 or 6 national champions now who have actually come through me to at least a small extent.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Very good.
And obviously all GMs plus a few more GMs. But by following a different path, like the path that actually works, it takes some time because there's some rejigging the way we think and that kind of thing. But then you can actually get real results that take you to the top. Because that's what we're really talking about here. We're not talking about, do you want to go from C to B grade? No. Anyone can do that. It's not that hard.
Scott wants to go from C to B grade.
Well, he hasn't been to a course yet, has he?
But yeah, so that was that.
But look, you've got some overseas competitions coming up, Paul. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so one of the things I do to try and improve my shooting skills is to subject myself to stiffer competition, you might say. Different stage designs and styles. And so I like to travel around to do that. One of the best places I've been to is Thailand. So I go back to Thailand pretty regularly because they have really good dynamic, yet accurate, yet fast. They've got a really good mix of their stage designs. Well-run organisation, well-run matches. So I go there as much as I can. So I'm going to Thailand next week. I think when we go to air, it's like the day I fly out. Then I'm going to the Euro Extreme in the Czech Republic.
Yep.
Right.
That'll be my 3rd time going back there.
Nice.
And then I'll be heading off to Thailand again later in the year. That's for the Asian Handgun Championship.
Yeah, I think Antonio's going to that. And so is Josh.
So in terms of these overseas stages and what we had at our nationals, do you think we actually got like a proper cross-section of the skill sets being utilised? Or do you think there was a little bit of room for improvement in that area?
No, it would be maybe a poor way of describing it would say it's kind of a one-speed match in that there was really just one way to attack at nearly every stage.
Yeah.
Not just from a stage planning perspective, which was, of course, if you force everyone to start in a start position, then almost all the stage plans will be the same.
Yeah.
So you're not really seeing a cross-section of skill. You're not allowing people to use the skill that they have. You're forcing everyone to pretty much do the same thing. So it comes down to, did this match suit one person more than another, like a certain skill set? What I like about the overseas matches is generally they're a lot more rounded. So the wider range of skills. So, for example, in our nationals, there was no weekend stage. Now, I know there's some controversy over why we didn't do it, but the point is it wasn't there. There was an opportunity to go prone, but there was not really forced to go prone. There was pretty much no shooting on the move. There was, I think, 2 targets you could do in the whole stage, the whole match. That you could actually shoot and be moving, as opposed to like just slightly entering.
So you're an advocate with the freestyle start anywhere in the demarcated area. It gives you more opportunity to solve a puzzle.
Well, the best stages to me are always those that have a conversation. So when we're talking in the squad, it's like, oh, what do you got? Should we go left? Should we go right? Or do we start here? Do we start over there? They're the best because everyone's involved in it. Whereas it's start here, oh, okay, well, everyone's going left and then we're all going right.
Yeah, 100%.
End of conversation. Completely boring.
Even at level 1 at CDPC, I always, when we're doing stage design with myself and Antonio or Kane, it's always, can we please start anywhere? Don't set the start position. Let them solve the puzzle. Give them a puzzle to solve.
Well, Mooney installed a little bit of that at the Enroe education facility where, we had to do a stage design. He said, you've got to make these stages so they can be shot multiple ways.
We're a freestyle sport.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I don't think we captured all of that in the Nationals. I think, obviously, the double slider stage gave you a little, even though you're starting one spot, you had different options. You go left, you go middle, you go right. I had about 8 stage plans and didn't play to my strengths and really screwed that up.
How fun was the belly cart one, though?
That was completely unique.
Fred Flintstone on. How'd you go on that one, Paul?
I did pretty good on that one.
Awesome.
I can't remember exactly. It was something like 14 seconds or something. And
nice.
I think I just dropped a few too many points, but I think I did pretty good on it all up.
So do you think maybe they might have played it just a little too safe, trying to avoid, unnecessary, conflict on targets, and whether, this was an Alpha or that was a Charlie, or, because there wasn't much in the way of
discrepancy of scoring?
Exactly.
So the only thing I can think of, and there's a few aspects to it. So number one would be time frame. I think there was limited time for the guys actually designed the stage to actually put together like a complete match. Yeah. Now that's number one. Number two is actually assembling the stages, putting it together. So people on the ground putting it together. So again, more simple stages help with that.
Yeah.
But I also actually think it comes down to inexperience in terms of shooting those styles of matches. Now, I'm not trying to rag on the guys who did this, but I think if we're pretty... I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm probably the only person who really travels. Like, I travel to every state. I travel to overseas. I've been in multiple countries. And I do it to get experience.
Yeah.
So I've seen how it's done well, poorly, different ideas, different implementations.
Yeah.
And then you put all that together and I can actually build matches. Putting a match together is not the same as putting a stage together because you've got to account for different levels of shooter.
Yeah.
For example, low-level shooters can't hit steel at distance. So what it does is it slows down the whole match, makes them run out of ammo, stresses them out, so they're not enjoying it, and it actually slows down the whole match flow anyway. So you got your God squads that just tear through stages that have long-distance steals, and then the CD grade squad comes through, and they take twice as long. Well, what's that do to a match? Creates bottlenecks. So there's more aspects to just putting targets up. It's also, you've got to account for the different levels of shooters and how it affects them and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's a fair comment. And maybe they did play a little too safe. To be honest, they did a great job, and we didn't really have too many altercations where there was discrepancies over anything or reshoots and so on and so forth. So they kind of did a great job in that. As maybe just a little too good. Or maybe there are ways, like you're saying, with more experienced shooters with more cross-section of exposure to different matches to have an input to to creating something that doesn't necessarily have all those hold-ups, but also still broadens the scope of skills applied to the
So
whole
what
match.
you're saying is we need more people like Paul that are actually travelling around the world and seeing different matches and understanding where the bottlenecks occur and how that works, and the input going into IPSC World or IPSC Australia for the major matches.
Well, I think it's, to be honest, why wouldn't you draw on somebody with that experience?
So have they has IPSC Australia reached out to you, Paul, and asked for your input of any of this?
No, but that's not uncommon. Actually, the opposite would be common. Ask the people who are going to build the stages to design the stages. Well, as you can see, that's not going to work. And you can see how that pans out.
Yeah.
So our nationals, if I understand the rumours correctly, it was put together by two experienced people. So that's why the match was actually pretty decent. But at the same time, there was a lot of missing elements because they also don't have that level of skill to look at that elements.
So there's a lot of room for improvement there with systemisation as we continue forward.
Well, and you've got to consider as well the different divisions. You've got dot divisions, you've got open optics, production optics, you've got production iron sights, standard, and you've actually got to mix that in as well, because what one stage plan works for one division doesn't work for the other division.
No.
It's a very hard job to have.
Well, we've been to matches and we've gone, this is a great match for an open shooter. Stand at the back and shoot the whole lot, you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
From Johnny Seagrade over here, it's like, oh, great, I'll take 700 rounds with me.
Well, look, Paul, what's now on the cards for you? How do you set yourself up for success, not only overseas but locally, and set yourself up for a fantastic nationals campaign next year?
Okay, so one of the things I learnt personally about this, the last nationals we had, again, it was that one speed kind of thing where, because all the targets were open, or just all but two, it was a how fast can you shoot match.
Yes.
And with enough pausing to hit the plates. Okay, so that's actually why James did extremely well, because he's got a really fast trigger finger. So he can shoot real fast on those targets, yet he still has the skill and discipline to stop and hit plates.
Yeah, he was nasty.
We noticed that when
what I found out
on there, it's like bang, and his cadence to go right down on every popper, every bit of steel. Yep, it'd be a good pause.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's good at doing that. It's one of his greatest skills, actually. So what I realised is I don't shoot quick enough. So I've decided to take roughly the next 6 months, and I'm going to shoot open, just to get faster.
Weighted score. Thanks, Paul.
Every now and then I might pull out PDO if you need me for a grading match.
Yeah, I'll always need you for a grading match.
Gosh.
Well, I don't.
goal,
actually, over the next 12 months, it's fine because I'm shooting classics. So yeah, go ahead.
All right.
So my goal is to shoot open.
Paul and Brody.
Hang on, I want to know where he's got the powder from for a start.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
What are you hiding?
Oh yeah.
We need to have a conversation after this. All right.
I'm just shooting factory 9mm. It's wicked. Works so good.
He's going to.
So I got my nice little Tanfo gun.
So you're going to open.
My Tanfo's awesome.
So it's
not going to open. I'm going to train in open by shooting 6 months of open.
Okay. So I was going to say that's you and Brody against each other.
Well, yeah. I need a rematch. I screwed up the last one.
Bring it on.
That would be great to watch.
Fantastic.
So as I've seen it in just 1 month, I've seen the improvement it's already had.
Yep.
I'm still struggling up close. I just can't run fast splits. I don't have a fast trigger finger. But other things are starting to come together. Seeing the dots better, that's working better. So yeah, I'm already seeing improvement in that short time.
That's awesome, mate. So with your performance pistol courses, have you got dates and places where you're actually going and people can actually sign up for the course?
Yeah, absolutely. So on my website, performancepistol.com, you can go in there and have a look at the courses that are upcoming.
Awesome.
And then on there will be some contact details for some of the courses are directly catered, as in the club's organising it. So there'll be contact details to talk to them directly and get on the course. Otherwise, contact me via the website or Facebook, etc. All those details.
Yep, we'll put the link in the description below as well as putting it up on the screen down below as we're watching this.
Absolutely.
And just contact me directly to book classes wherever.
Sorry.
Yeah, contact me for pricing because it always varies depending on where I've got to travel to.
Awesome. You've done Paul's.
I have. I've done a couple of Paul's courses, and I was fortunate enough to do a private 2-day course with Paul.
Oh, here we go.
Well, yeah, my wife shouted me for my birthday
present.
Yep. Happy birthday, old codger.
Thank you for that. Yes, lovely.
He's 2 years younger than me, so.
But that was great. I highly recommend it to anybody. Go to his courses, do his courses. If you can afford to and you can work it in with Paul, and you want to go that little step further and do a private course with him, see if you can wing that as well, because it's well worth it.
Yep.
It's
I'm going to jump on it
difference.
as soon as I get 10 seconds spare out of my life to actually do it.
Good luck.
I think I'll just organise some private ones with Paul and head over to Adelaide and do what you did, because it's probably more convenient for me to do it that way.
Hey, listen, we wish you all the very best in your overseas competitions. Hope you do really well, and until next time, thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully at some of the state selection matches in Australia.
Yep, I definitely plan to get over there for some of them.
All right, thanks for coming on, Paul. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll catch up with you next time.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
And guys, don't forget, like
and subscribe
and hit that notification bell so you see where we're coming up next.
Until next time, remember to run fast and shoot straight, and we'll see you next time on the Pew Pew Show.
Pew pew pew.
Was that a backup shot?
It was. It was 2 backup shots because I missed 2 mics. Damn it! It's like my nationals all over again.